speech in praise of someone today. In India, we celebrate Children's Day on November 14th. The day was created to emphasize the importance of showing love and affection to children. And our first president, Prime Minister, believed that children are the future of the country. Today, I ask that you all pretend to be at an event at Children's Day, November 14th, and please help me welcome Mythili with her speech titled An Inspiration.
The Cubist painter Pablo Picasso was once told sometime in his life, that the paintings from his later years looked a lot more vibrant, a lot more youthful. To this, he responded, "It takes a long time to grow young." Fellow Toastmasters, what a profound statement he made there. If you think about it, it is indeed so hard to unlearn things and view the world through the eyes of a child fresh. Today, on the occasion of Children's Day, I want to share with you a few qualities I greatly admire about a child that I have watched so closely, my nephew Sid. The very first thing that comes to my mind when I think about Sid is how he values simple pleasures. Think about your best weekend, something you would talk about with your colleagues and friends the following week. More often than not, it must involve some kind of an activity. Skiing, you went dancing, biking, hiking, even wine tasting. But the definition was completely different for this nephew of mine. When he was 3, his perfect weekend was at a lake, where he could throw stones into the water for hours together. What a pointless thing to do. Throw stones into the water for hours and watch the water splash. But this gave him immense happiness. I took a lesson from him and thought about my own life. I realized that first cup of coffee I take every morning brings me the same joy. He reminded me that happiness comes from small pleasures, simple pleasures in life, if only we notice. The second thing that stands out about Sid is his abundant curiosity. If you or I saw a chair, we'd take a seat. That's what chairs are for. But my nephew would crawl up under the chair to see what the chair looked like from there. If you gave him a pencil, he would smell, chew, and throw it around. Now, I'm not suggesting that all of you smell, chew, and throw pencils around, but think about this. We often find ourselves in situations where we are so devoid of curiosity. We take everything for granted. A good breakfast, love and relationships, cooking, good books, just snuggling up on your couch on a rainy day. Everything is just taken for granted. I think Walt Strateff was thinking of Sid when he said, "There are no 7 wonders in the eyes of a child. There are 7 million." The third striking quality about Sid is his imagination. Just like the character Calvin from the cartoon strip Calvin and Hobbes, he has great imagination. I remember this incident when we were in a playground and he was about 4 back then. He kept following this little worm everywhere. I was intrigued. After a while I asked him, "What are you doing?" He looked at me and said, "This little worm is talking to me like a baby." Imagination makes his world come alive. When he paints, leaves can be purple. A monkey can drive a bus. You and I can live on top of clouds. Imagination makes his world magical, lively, and colorful. The fourth thing that stands out is how he lives in the present. When he's playing, he's just playing. He's not thinking about what candy to eat later, what game to play the next day. Unlike me, if and when I'm driving, I'm thinking about what to cook for dinner. When I'm watching a movie, I'm thinking about the pending work. Multitasking, we are so fond of it and admire it all the time. Perhaps we should tone it down just a little. There's so much to gain by just living in the present, forgetting our past memories and future worries. Another superb quality I see in Sid is his spontaneity. He doesn't go around planning his day a lot. One day, 1 minute he is going down a slide, the second he's chasing a butterfly. There's so much spontaneity in his life. If a song is playing on the radio and he can't dance, who cares? He decides to move his body anyway, awkward or not. That's your problem. As grown-ups, as adults, we seem to get so overly critical of ourselves and worry about the end result that we forget to stay spontaneous. Spontaneity in small doses brings up so much joy in our lives. My nephew Sid epitomizes the great qualities in kids everywhere to me. He makes me value simple pleasures in life. He makes me curious about things I would ordinarily walk past, to infuse imagination into my own life. He makes me want to live a little more in the present and stay spontaneous. He makes me look at my own life with fresh eyes through the eyes of a child. On this Friday morning, I'd like to leave you with a quote by my favorite character, Calvin. Wow, look at all the grass stains on my skin. I say, if your knees aren't green by the end of the day, you ought to seriously re-examine your life. Mr. Jason.
Please take a minute to give your comments.